Sweet baby Jesus, the world is on fire. No, I'm joking.
Sweet baby Jesus.
A bunch of people out there like, oh my god, the world's on fire. What was it? Who's the chicken that runs around with his head cut off? Chicken Little running around with your head.
No, his head's not cut off. I think he's saying the
Oh,
sky
sorry,
is falling, right?
Sky is falling. Yeah,
Sky is
already
falling.
I'm messing up, folks. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Can you tell it's another wild Wednesday? So I just want to start the show off by prefacing it with the fact that I am fasting today because
Why?
because yesterday. So okay, check this out. I'm going to announce this. This is not an advertisement, even though I feel like they could pay us based on the conversation I had there yesterday. There is a poutine place in Montreal, Poutineville, that has all you can eat poutine on Tuesday. So at 5 p.m., you pay $20 and you get as much poutine as you can eat. So yesterday I went there because I was just like, you know what? I don't know what to have for supper. I didn't know it was $20. I thought it was $10, which is my. I was like, $10 for
You
all
done
you can
goofed?
Eat. Yeah, I goofed. So I got there and I walk in. The place is dead empty. I'm like, what the hell's going on, dude? It was sad. It was like a library on a Saturday afternoon. Just no one there. Like, and I'm talking Saturday in the summer, not when kids have exams and stuff. I'm talking like everyone's outside. It's a beautiful day. Everyone's running around, and there's only one kid who's obsessed with books, hiding in a corner. That's all. That was the vibe I got from this place. So I walk in. It's who I assumed was the owner speaking with one girl, two people working behind the bar, one guy eating a poutine in the corner, and that's it. I walk up and I'm just like, hey, so is it true you guys have all you can eat poutine? And they're just like, yeah, it's $20. And immediately in my head, I was like, damn it. They're like, it's $20 and it's you get to pick two at a time and you eat the poutine. And I was just like, oh, okay. It's like, and you get to sample all of the 26 poutines we have here. And I was just like, all of them are available for the all you can eat. They're like, yeah. I'm like, all right. So I took a regular and a smoked meat to start off. And one of the things is it's a very small bowl, by the way. It's not a poutine size tin. Like if you're from Montreal, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not from Montreal, like picture, I would say like a 10-inch tin, I would say.
10-inch? Okay.
Yeah. So these are small. These are just little like bowls that I would say are maybe, I don't know, like a bowl smaller than this. This is my cereal bowl, and it's a bowl smaller than this, I would say.
Okay.
It's taller, but it's narrower.
Okay.
So it looks
think that's fine.
Yeah, like a poke bowl almost, I guess, is what I'm thinking of. Right. So you get a poke bowl size poutine. You get two. So you can do two per round. So I got a regular poutine and a smoked meat. Then the second round, I was just gonna have a regular and the hamburger, the cheeseburger, which is essentially just like ground beef with the shallots on top. And it tastes like a cheeseburger and a poutine. Like it tastes like you took a bite out of a cheeseburger and took a bite of a poutine at the same time, which I was like, okay,
that's pretty cool.
Right. Then these girls, I guess, were trying to get me to come back. So they're like, yo, you got to try the General Tao poutine. Jaws.
What'd you do?
That thing is so salty. And it's, Lord.
It's full of flavor.
Oh, yeah, that's the word we're going to use.
Your body weak.
Yeah. Yeah, you might have come up with the title already. Your body weak.
Your body is weak.
Dude, I took a bite of that thing. I took a bite of that thing and I was just like, what? I just immediately started drinking water. But because it's so small, I was just like, well, I'm just going to finish it. Like, so I ate that first because I was like, okay, I want to finish.
You know what that was, right?
Well,
that was salt talking.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had these 4 small poutine bowls, and by the 4th, I was just like, okay, I'm good. I don't want. They were just like, oh, you're done already. I'm like, yes. Yes. Here's your $23. Leave me alone. Your $23 and a little tip. Go away. I don't want to eat any more of these poutines. I did ask them. I was like, yeah, what's the most anyone's ever eaten? One girl's just like, I think people usually tap out at 4, and I was like, okay, I don't feel that bad. Not that I was going to anyways.
Right.
But then the other girl behind the bar goes, whoa, no. I've seen there was a group of teenage boys who came in once from 5 until 10 p.m. doing rounds. They were playing cards and hanging out, but they just
Yeah.
round after round for 5 hours, just eating 2 poutines each for 5 hours.
Were they part of like some kind of like
Football
sports team or something?
Yeah, I know. I thought so too. She just said, no, I think they're just teenage boys. And I was just like, you know what? She's not wrong. Because when I was a teenage boy, I equally would like late teens to like my early 20s. I could eat like a jackass, as I call it. Because there was times where I would eat. I remember going to Buffet Foulam in Ville Saint Laurent, right?
I think so.
Yeah, next to Gouzo. That was the Gouzo
Oh,
Spear
okay,
Tech
okay,
in
yeah.
Montreal. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there's a movie theater brand company called Gouzo, and there's like a strip mall that got built all around this one kind of movie theater. They like redid that whole area back in the day. And there was a place called Buffet Foulam down at the end of it, and I went there with a friend of mine once, and they had unlimited poutine at that place actually.
Oh
And
no.
I just kept doing unlimited poutine and like the little sausage things, the little the little hot dogs that they do in that like kind of syrupy water. And I just did that like 5 times in a row.
Oh, my heart doesn't feel good. Just you talking about it. Just young Brian, I don't want any of that.
No, yeah. Young Brian was crazy. I was insane. I genuinely look back at myself and go, who are you trying to impress? Who was that for? Because it wasn't for your taste buds, because at the end you felt sick most of the time. You felt unhappy with how much food you ate. Yeah. Wild times. But to the people who go to Poutineville, I would say though, one of the things I didn't know about Poutineville, they have a liquor license. So if you're looking for a spot to like just chill with your friends on a Tuesday and drink and then just continuously have poutines to help absorb the alcohol, $20 for all you can eat poutine and then just drinks. And their drink menu was like usual price, like $7 for a glass of sangria and stuff like that. I was just like, oh, this doesn't seem that outlandish. It doesn't seem too expensive. So if you're looking for like a cheap thing to do on a Tuesday night, cheapy Tuesday, maybe before a movie or after a movie, I'm not gonna. It seemed like a good deal. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna hit them up and see if they want to sponsor us, because that place was empty, and I gotta say that was wild how empty it was. I was like,
but it's a Tuesday, right? So either people are cheapy Tuesdays at a movie or
KFC.
KFC. I forgot about that.
Do they still do the? I mean, it's not Toonie Tuesday anymore, but
yeah, they do cheapy. I'm sure everyone has like some kind of cheapy Tuesdays, but I know KFC's not the spot anymore because it's like all out war on fried chicken.
Yeah,
you know, everyone's like, oh, the Koreans came, and and that's when the Koreans came with their fried chicken.
Well, I mean, from my understanding, the Koreans' fried chicken is learned from. Didn't they learn it from Americans? Isn't that the story? That during the war,
it could be that, or it could be because I know Japan got their fried stuff from tempura, and I think tempura is from Portugal, from the what do you call them? The Jesuits.
Oh,
the Jesuits priests that came and they allowed to stay there stuff. So there's a lot of stuff.
But either way, the idea is that they didn't just come up with it themselves.
No. It's the fact that like they have their own style of doing it, and it's actually really good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's really good, and there's a lot of spots for it in Montreal.
Yes.
I know there's also a Filipino place that does fried chicken as well. Like there's just a lot of places to get chicken if you want chicken.
Yeah, Montreal
fried chicken.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay, so when you were saying KFC's not it anymore, or the all-out war, I thought more just the idea that they had gone old school because they've been doing it for so long. People were kind of moved off of them. But you're more saying just no, there are other people who do chicken so well that KFC's not even it anymore, and that's fair. That is a very accurate thing, because the last time I had KFC, because the KFC just opened down the street from me, I didn't even get chicken. I just got the wrap because I used to like the Twister wraps. Right. And I got the Twister wrap, and I was just like, oh, why did I like this as a kid? Like, I didn't even enjoy it. I ate it, and I was just like, this isn't good. This is the only thing you know what's really weird? The one thing I genuinely still like at KFC, the macaroni salad. Really? I don't know why. I could not explain it to you. But there's something they do with their macaroni salad that I'm just like, that's some good macaroni salad.
I remember I was watching this YouTuber or TikTok or whatever, and he's like the president of the fast food secrets club.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you ever heard of this guy.
Is it the secret menu?
Yeah, it's like a secret menu guy, but he does other things too and stuff like that. And he had mentioned someone was like, "Oh, Cane's is like the best chicken place in the States." But the video shows someone taking like a chicken strip and dunking it in the sauce. And he was like, if you have to go to any place where you have to take your chicken and dunk it completely in the sauce, and it's like the person like goes all the way in, and it's like up to their
to the fingertips,
up to the tip of their fingertips.
Like Achilles
that chicken
style.
is not good.
Yeah.
Straight up, if you have to mask the flavor of the chicken with sauce, and it's not good.
That is a valid argument.
And
I agree.
He said for chicken places, it goes Popeyes. Everywhere else is second, and then Cane's is probably like third.
Noted.
Anywhere but Cane's is second, and
I haven't been to the States in so long. I'm like, yo, I don't even remember. I've never tried Popeyes.
Which I know it's a battle between Popeyes and Church's Chicken. That's the ones I've always heard in BET Comedy View.
Right.
And then Chick-fil-A has the best sandwich.
Right.
Well, you can go to Toronto. You can go to Toronto for Chick-fil-A. You can go to Toronto for
Chick-fil-A's in
Popeyes.
Toronto?
Yeah.
That's just rude. Quebec. We all know why they're not in Quebec, but I mean, I feel like Popeyes could come to Quebec because the name Popeyes is a name.
Yeah,
it's not
but
English or French. It's like you were saying, like, what was it last week or 2 weeks ago? You made the very valid point of like why, like, when we were talking about milk on Moncton here in Montreal, you pointed out an excellent point that I didn't even think of. Why would I use milk as a title when I could put MELK and not have to deal with the language police? So it's like Popeyes, you wouldn't have to deal with the language.
But then
police.
You have Popeyes a supplement.
Yes, which I see all over. Is Popeyes a supplement only in Montreal, only in Quebec though?
That I don't know. I don't think so.
I thought, yeah, because I don't
think so. Because
I figured Popeyes a supplement.
They're using the actual character Popeyes.
Right. Licensed.
Yeah. So I don't think so. I thought Joblies.
Oh, is that the place, the Filipino thing?
That's the Filipino fast food. That's
right,
everywhere except Quebec. And you would think if they opened up one here or they started an LLC here, like you would have a built-in group of people ready to bring this to Montreal.
Yeah.
Bring it to Quebec.
I think one of the valid points though is it's just they save money by not being here because they don't have to put all their stuff in French and English, right? So maybe that's
I don't know. I feel like you would have a built-in fan base. That's probably that's more likely to not bilingual
for sure,
or or just like, yes, let's do this. But I mean, if they haven't done it yet, like I know they're in the States,
right?
I don't know if they're in Canada. I don't know if in the rest of Canada yet. What was another? There's another chicken place in Canada. Was it Brown? Susan Brown?
Oh, I don't know.
Sue Brown.
I don't know all the chicken places. Actually, now that I think about it, let's. I'll let you finish that last thought, but maybe we get off of food because I
am messing up your fasting. This
all started with me being like, I'm fasting, and then we immediately went into a 15-minute conversation about all the delicious
Mary Brown's. Chicken. That's it.
Mary Brown's. Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Mary Brown's is a Canadian chicken. So like, see how much chicken places there are.
Sorry, KFC, you no longer the kings. Actually, let's be honest, y'all weren't the kings to begin with. You were just first to market is probably the best way to describe it.
Something I didn't know was that apparently the Colonel lived in Canada for a very long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Okay, do tell. The Colonel lived in Canada. What else do you know? Because I would never have guessed that the KFC Colonel ever bared the horrible winters of this beautiful nation of ours, unless he was on the West Coast.
Oh, there we go. It's like boom. As soon as I type it, Colonel Sanders bought and lived in a bungalow at. Wow, they even have the 133-7 Melton Drive in Lakeview area of Mississauga from 1965 until his death in 1980.
Oh wow! So
in September 1970, he and his wife were baptized in the Jordan. No, that's it.
He spent almost 20 years in Canada.
Yep.
Okay, so I feel like we can say KFC is Canadian then. I'm just gonna wait. Because the Colonel is known for being from is from Kentucky, right? That's the part of the story.
Yeah, I think he's like an honorary colonel or something like that.
And he gave up the warmth of Kentucky for cold ass Mississauga. Yeah. Also, it sounds like you said Lakeview, so I'm imagining near water. You know how cold Ontario near water, dude. I'll never forget going down in Toronto visiting my godmother as a kid, and she had a condo near the water. This is like in the 90s, and walking down the street by her place in jeans and feeling those jeans turn to ice because it was so cold. The air was so cold. My legs felt like they couldn't move. Just the legs inside the jeans touching it burned. Yeah, I hated the sensation. I'll never forget that feeling. So shout outs to the Colonel for coming up to Canada. You crazy. You are crazy. That is an insane thing to do.
And he apparently, according to this article, in the was it Tampa Bay? Is it Tampa Bay?
No.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Times. He was considering becoming a Canadian citizen before his death in 1980.
Hey, man.
He talked about it.
Hey, man. Free healthcare.
PepsiCo bought it.
Free healthcare.
In 1987, PepsiCo Inc. bought the Canadian operations of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, because now they're owned by like the whole thing is
Yum.
Yeah, like one huge group now, right?
Yeah, it's I want to say it's Yum. They're called Yum Corporation or something like that, or it's Pepsi, one or the other. But remember Yum Chips?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's all the same umbrella.
Okay.
So it's either PepsiCo or Yum.
I feel like I can't wait till we do a trivia. One day, this podcast will do a trivia day, and we will just go through all the random trivia we've announced on this show and ask you guys if you remember. What city did the Colonel, KFC's Colonel, live in until his death in 1980? Blah, blah, blah. All that random. And it won't even be nerdy. That's the worst part, because y'all are going to be like, oh, we can do a nerd quiz any day, because if you're watching this, you're most likely nerd fans. So you would think, oh, we're going to ask nerd questions. But no, we're going to ask you that real hard shit, like where's the Colonel from? And really mess with y'all, just to mess with y'all. What else do we have? Guys, we have a whole bunch of trailers that we're going to talk about. I feel like we should start with Mortal Kombat Legends Cage Match. So I watched this trailer today because you put it on the list. Joel McHale returning to voice Johnny Cage.
Oh, I didn't know it was returning.
Yeah, he's done the voice in a previous version. Dude, this thing is fantastic. This trailer is pure 80s. I was like, this is insane to watch. It is a red band trailer, so we probably won't show much of it, but I do want it to play while we're talking. So I am going to share that to the screen in a second. But I got to say, this is the epitome of like 80s nostalgia. The whole aesthetic. Which album? There's like an album by an artist in the 80s that had this exact color. I'm going to show it. You know what? Let me just show it.
There's a scene in the trailer. Right. That with literally a woman raises her head and she looks like the cover of Duran Duran's Rio.
Oh, yeah. No, that was funny too. Thank you. That's what it is, right?
Duran Duran's Rio. Exactly that. That's what it exactly is.
Yeah. That's what it is. I'm going to cut back to that. And Oh, I froze.
Or at least it's not 100% the actual cover, but it's definitely
I froze.
There's a artist in the 80s that had stuff like that, and then like if you look up online, that artist is just basically
all right.
It's just basically like that design. Oh, they say like, why do all like hair salons that are like from the 80s all have the same type of art?
Yeah,
I just posted up the Duran Duran one.
This is this is the Duran Duran cover. Okay, so
yeah, the link.
Because honestly, when I saw it at first, I was just like, this is. Hold on, share this tab instead. Yeah, I gotta say it is impressive. I was really impressed with the trailer, the aesthetic. The aesthetic is so nice. Like, it's a good looking trailer. And I just kind of feel this thing so I was watching a video from, is it not Vice. I don't remember who made the video, but they did a breakdown of why the animation in movies recently changed, and they attributed it a lot to Into the Spider-Verse because that was one of the first times in recent years, other than Pixar, who had set the tone for a while, that someone had really gone outside the box, and that it gave people the sense that they could take bigger risks when they were making they were doing their pieces. And because of that, it led to a lot after Into the Spider-Verse, which is so recent when you think about it. Sony continued to do stuff that was a little outside the box. You see the Mitchells, that Netflix, I don't remember what the name is, but Mitchell's.
Oh, the one where they're fighting the robots and everything?
Right, yeah. So the animation for that is very different, which was also done by Sony, if I'm not mistaken. And then they listed off a bunch of different projects, and then you get to Mario, which also kind of goes a little bit against the generic type for the animation. And then, of course, Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse, levels up because they themselves start to do something similar to this, like these different kind of pastel colors for Gwen, and Miles is the more grounded but also glitchy universe. And then you go to the Moonbatten, the Mumbai Manhattan hybrid, which was inspired by Bollywood and East South Asian art styles and stuff like that. And it's just so rich to see. And even Miguel's 2099 universe, which was very kind of like futuristic Sky Tower type thing. And you see those art styles, and then we get to enjoy the fruits of this new this new creation and this new aesthetic. Because, and I know people are going to be like, okay, calm down, Brian, like that's not what they're doing with Cage Match. But when you watch this trailer, you get to see some really, like, look at this stuff. Like, look at some of these images. If you're listening to this, once again, we always recommend you guys tune into the YouTube. We do love doing an audio podcast, but when it comes to some of the stuff, the visuals are so nice that it's like, I would try and describe this. I won't do it justice, like you've got some next level lightning. You got a demon hands, like giant demon hands crushing a creature, like a humanoid creature. It looks fantastic. The art style is beautiful. And like Wendell and I were talking about, that Duran Duran cover inspired 80s look.
Even the artist's name is Patrick Nagel.
Yeah. So all that stuff it's there. It looks great. The trailer looks dope. There's like a Carlton looking dude who's the sidekick to Cage in this that I was just like, it looks like someone drew Carlton as Will, is how I describe it, which I feel is unfair, but it really looks like if Carlton and Will were merged. He's
got off? Like the high top, but he's got the glasses, he's got the bow tie, the cardigan.
Yes, like it looks like Will dressed as Carlton. Yeah, it's his assistant. Cage's assistant in the movie. So I mean, I think people should definitely check it out. I'm gonna try and find the spot where you see Raiden too, because Raiden looks really cool. Jennifer Grey, a classic 80s actress, is doing the voice of, I guess, the love interest, or maybe just one of his friends. I don't know. But I just really like this trailer because this one, I don't know, I thought it was impressive. And it's just funny because Mikhail really is just, Mikhail embodies this character really well. Like, if you watch the other project, I think The Last Legends, Mikhail is in that one, and you get a sense that Mikhail likes playing this character.
Right.
So, yeah. What are the other trailers we had that I wanted that you put on the list? We have some. And then the video game release.
The way I structured it is right. Bam, and then it all goes into the Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, so then we have the new Mortal Kombat 1, the reveal for some of the characters that are being brought into this new game, which, dude,
do you want me to tell you who's who? Just make it easier.
Oh, well, I'm gonna pull up the screen where they're all on the screen, because I knew.
Oh, okay.
I know all the popular ones, but I don't know any of the other ones. So yeah, hold on, let me get to that scene and. Because I saw it and I thought, oh, this is cool. Okay, let me share this. Let's share this tab instead, and let's get back onto the screen with it. So this one here. So who's the character on the left? Far left.
The far left? I think that's Quan Chi. He's like one of the one of
Okay.
the more newer bad guys for Mortal Kombat. I think in Mortal Kombat 4.
Is he in the animated movie? Like the story is that he works for one of the
Yeah, he works for like
like
there's like
evil gods
another.
people
Yeah, there's like
because
another
there's
higher god or something like that, or
another
some
realm.
other baddie.
Right. Okay, so that's what I thought. That's who I recognized. And then next to him, that looks like to me, it looks like Reptile without the mask, but I don't know who this
No, I
is.
think that's Ermac.
Okay. So the
Yeah,
dude
I
with
think that's
glowing
supposed to be
green
Ermac.
eyes, Ermac. And then we get into the people I recognize.
Mhm.
Omni-Man from Invincible, Homelander, and John Cena's Peacemaker. Not even just Peacemaker.
Yeah.
This is Cena's face.
Straight up his face.
It's straight up John C, which is impressive to me. That I mean, this is obviously the synergy of Mortal Kombat being owned by Warner Brothers
Yeah.
Discovery and them, and we've seen that they've done it before with the Justice League. There's a Justice League video game that is 100% a knockoff of Mortal Kombat, which
No,
I've
no, no.
played.
It's not a knockoff. It's made by the same people. It's made by
You're right,
NetherRealm
but
Studios. But it's
it's made
basically
by
Mortal Kombat, but not gory.
right,
Because
right.
it's
I just said
DC
it's a
characters.
knockoff in the sense that like you play it and it feels like you're playing Mortal Kombat. And yes,
Yeah.
you're right. I should admit that I knew it was made by the same people. It's just that when it came out, I was kind of just like, oh, this you guys reskinned Mortal Kombat with just DC superheroes.
But
I was like,
I know the newer one,
mm,
depending on how you played or something like that, your character would level up with different armor. So everybody has
oh,
so like
okay,
depending on how you
okay,
play the game or whatever, like you get like, Batman will get more armor, or the Flash gets a better boots or bigger
oh,
visor
okay,
or whatever. Like they would look different as they go along.
so that they could fight like they're like stronger.
Yeah, I guess so. Like so at
Okay,
least it look more aesthetically different as it goes on.
okay, okay,
And then the last guy, I
okay.
think on the
That's fair.
far
Hold on,
right is Takeda, but I don't know who that is in particular. That's like a more uh later character, I guess.
okay. Yeah, because some of these characters I don't know, or I
They're
like the ones you had to give me the names for. I did not recognize.
Yeah, those are
Um,
actual like Mortal Kombat characters because this
okay,
game is technically Mortal Kombat 12, but they're calling
right,
it Mortal Kombat 1 because in 11 some time shenanigans happens and then everything kind of gets reset, but not
of
reset
course,
because it's still continuing.
right.
So it's kind of like a reboot, kind of reboot, but it's
All
within the
right. I
story.
mean, I'm not mad at reboots. I've said in the past I would prefer some original IP stuff, but when it comes to a video game like this, I'm actually okay with them kind of changing it up because the video games, when it comes to video games, we like to see the lore of and the stories expanded on.
Mhm.
And because there's so much you can do, especially with Mortal Kombat, there's so many characters. If you want to tell the story from every character's perspective, that's cool to me because that's the medium where you could do it. You can't really
Yeah.
do that in films, or at least you could, but I don't know how long before people start to get tired of it. Like Fast
Well,
and Furious. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that I think that's what they were doing because it was just getting so complicated and everything. And then I think the last story is uh Liu Kang does something
Mm,
and he ends up becoming a god in
right.
the end. And he's
Right.
like, screw it. I am turning everything back into like square one. Everyone, we're not fighting anymore. Done. I redid the earth, redid everything, redid time. I made a world where everyone doesn't have to fight. And it just so happens everyone still gets compelled to fight. And I think in this one, s- uh the two greatest enemies that everybody knows about in Mortal Kombat, um, what do you call
Scorpion
them?
and Sub Zero.
Yeah, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, they're no longer
Okay.
enemies, they're actually family, they're actually brothers.
Oh, in this new universe.
In this universe that Liu Kang created, he's like, "You two are always fighting each other. You're family. Screw this. You're family. Now you can't fight each other because you're
Oh
brothers. You're
wait. Okay.
family."
Sorry, I misunderstood. The effects of the version of the game we're seeing now is a universe that Liu Kang has recreated.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Wild. What the fuck?
So that's what I mean. It is a reboot. It
Yes,
is a
yes.
reboot, but it's still within
It's a
the
continuation. Yes.
storyline.
What are you how do you get away with doing that? How do you
They can.
just go? That's fucking wild to me, man.
And I loved how they teased it. So it's like, oh,
Okay.
NetherRealms put something up on your Twitter, and it's a clock, and it's a clock going from the 12th hour, no, the 11th hour, which is
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 11, the last game,
Right.
and then it's going to 12, and it kind of gets stuck on the 12, and then it just jumps to 1.
Yeah,
It just straight jumps to 1. You're like,
that's funny.
oh, okay, they're gonna, because of all the time stuff, they're straight up
Yeah.
rebooting, but it's still part of the story.
I mean, yeah, that's good. That's good storytelling. Again, like I was saying, the video games is one of the few mediums where you can do this and do this properly. IPs are huge. You can expand on the lore and you can give us different perspectives. Even the Grand Theft Auto stuff, like Grand Theft Auto 3, the character that Grand Theft Auto 1, 2, and 3, the character that you play at in those movies, in those games, you realize is connected to the different characters throughout some of the different stories in Grand Theft Auto, right? And
Yeah, I
then
think the character in 3 shows up in is it 2 or 1? I forgot. Or 2 or no, sorry. Character in 3 shows up in either no, he doesn't show up in Vice City. He shows up in San Andreas, I think.
right.
Because
That's what I remember.
3 is modern time of when it came out.
Right.
Vice City's the 80s, and then
San Andreas is West Coast of
San Andreas is like West Coast, early 90s.
Yeah. And then for Watch Dogs, for example, when you play the second Watch Dogs, you have a mission where you save the guy from the first Watch Dogs.
Pierce? Adrian Pierce?
I don't remember his name. The guy with the trench coat.
I thought you really liked the guy. I thought you liked the first guy from Watch Dogs.
I did, but I don't remember. Dude, you know me, Sandbox serial killer. I'm not about names. I'm about running around.
But it's your name.
I'm about running around. Yeah, most people, how many people say my name to me? I don't know.
All the time. He's a big freaking deal. Every time you run into somebody, say, "Oh, what are you doing here?"
You run around, bullshit up. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. I just want to run around.
I know it's
Pierce.
Run around. I know it's something Pierce.
I want to run around. Aiden Pierce?
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. That sounds right. Dude, if you trying to ask me to remember character names like I'm out here trying to memorize. I want to go into a game, get a code, blow stuff up. That's how I play. The only reason I play these games to the end now is because I realize I can get more stuff to blow stuff up with than when I used to play the game and I had the limit of like, I can't explore this section because I haven't actually done the missions there. It's like, fine, let me do all these missions so you guys will let me blow up stuff on this part of the map too.
I am surprised you never played Just Cause.
I have played Just Cause
2, 3, and 4. Like, because all you're doing is blowing up a bunch of stuff, and
Just
they want
Cause,
you to blow up.
I've actually played Just Cause 3. I actually started getting good at it. I started doing missions. I got into bases. I was blowing stuff up. And then I had so much fun blowing stuff up, I stopped doing the missions because there's this one mission alone where you're on like an airfield and you have to destroy as much as possible. Yeah. And I just kept blowing everything up. I just kept, I was like, let's see how much I can blow up on. Then they let you ride jets. You can ride, dude. There were times where I am flying a jet against another jet, dogfighting. Then I would jump out of my jet, like pull myself with the Gatling, whatever gun, not Gatling gun,
but
grapple he has, grapple myself to the other jet, get into that one because I was almost going to die in the first one, throw that guy out, take over his jet. Now I'm free falling, take it over, start firing at everyone else. Helicopters come, do the same thing. I had so much fun in that game. I was just like, I need to stop playing because I am just going to keep murdering as many people in the game as possible. And I will have absolutely no rhyme or reason of a story to try and play. And that did not seem like a good way to approach this thing. I seem like a psycho. My partner...
But that's the game to do it in because everything explodes. It just explodes so well.
It is so beautiful.
Shout out to Avalanche Studios. You just know how to make everything blow up. They also did what was it called? The Max, not Max Payne. Sorry, no, not Max Payne.
Right.
What's his name? Max.
See, this
Fury Road guy.
Oh,
Come on.
The character that what's his
Australian guy.
Mel Gibson's character?
Yeah.
Mad Max.
Mad Max. They did a Mad Max game too.
Oh, dope. Okay.
And the whole point of that game is like someone steals his. It's basically like the beginning of Fury Road. He gets beaten up, someone steals his car, and then you have to go out, make a new car, and then try to get back your original car, the Interceptor.
Oh, dope. I like that. You know what's another good game where you just get to blow up stuff? The Warriors. When you play the Warriors game, based on the 70s movie. Sorry?
Really?
Yeah. Have you ever played that game? It's made by Rockstar.
Yeah, it's more of a beat 'em up. I don't think you're blowing up stuff.
Well, you're not blowing up stuff, but you're like riding throughout the streets. Like there's a huge part of it where it's just like, so I guess it's not blow up as much as it's the idea of just like destroy the city.
Right.
Which is kind of like how I still play, right? Like my idea is I just like to run around and destroy everything. And
yeah, because I know that game wasn't really open world. It was more like concise areas kind of thing. So that's why I was like,
yeah, you're right. As a sandbox serial killer, I did not enjoy the limitations put on me by the Warriors game.
Yeah, because you're playing a movie. You're not playing your own thing.
But I did enjoy the chaotic riots and like all the gangs in the streets just attacking each other, and then like breaking into the cars, stealing the radios so you could sell them for money, so you could buy this like the drug to power yourself up or buy more graffiti paint. Like there was elements of that game that I really did enjoy back in the day. We got some more trailers before we get into some stuff. We're already 40 minutes in. We haven't even touched the View the Right Thing stuff. So we'll probably run through this list now. We have the Invincible trailer, season 2 dropped. If you guys want to check it out, I highly recommend it. Reginald Val Johnson is his name, right? Did I say that right? Is back as the principal. And he, I think the school, is it that the school's named after him in the comic book?
I can't remember. It's been a while since I read the comic book.
It's right behind me too, but I don't want to turn around to go get it. But all this to say, highly recommend that show. If you guys haven't watched it, it is easily one of the most interesting takes on the superhero genre, because it started off as, from what I understand, Kirkman wanted to do a commentary on superhero stories, like the major DC and Marvel stuff. The reason the character's name is Mark Grayson is because it was a play on Dick Grayson. And then, it just turned into its own thing because it did so well that they were just like, okay, well, at this point, story. And then it's so good, it ended up getting turned into an animated series. That is
it took a while.
Fantastic. I don't know if you guys have seen the first season. We've talked about it on this podcast. We highly recommend it. Yeah.
That meme was everywhere.
Yes, Omni-Man. Yo, Omni-Man is fantastic in this. He's a dark, sick sucker, but god damn.
The comic gets way worse. You thought that was bad. It gets way worse.
Oh, well, you know, I will say this though. There is one part of the TV show, the animated series in season 1, that I do think they one up the comic book, when he puts Mark's head through the subway. And the subway train is just running, and because Mark is invincible and the dad's invincible, the human bodies that are hitting it just explode. And he's covered in all those dead people, which is a morbid scene to describe. And I'm sorry if anyone's listening to this going, oh my God. Yeah. But that is one thing where I think they one up the comic book, because the comic book, as gruesome as some of those fights get, I don't remember them ever doing anything like that.
I think with the comic book, they kind of saved it. They're like, no, this is the messed up part. You turn that page and then bam, you get the splash page of something really messed up. Like they just kind of they're not good. Like they're not hitting you as hard.
Yeah, the animated one, it hits hard because you just see him doing it. Oh shit, yo! First off, I want to apologize to the people who are tuned in. I didn't see that you guys have been messaging us here. Shout outs to Lee J. What's up, King? Same at you. Shout outs to Mark. What's good, Mark? And then I can't even read this name properly because I'm not in full screen. So I'm gonna shout outs to Val.
By the way,
BTW. Shout outs. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all y'all tuning into the show. We always love when people tune in and jump in. You guys feel free to add any comments, anything that you guys have been watching, because we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue with our trailers. We also have Gen V Gen V, The Boys, continuing with the Prime tip. So I know that there's a strike right now, and I know technically, influencers and all of them are asked not to promote struck work, as they call it. And I understand that, you know, if ever I wanted to get into the SAG-AFTRA, which I probably as an act will never want to because I don't think I'm an actor of any kind, or if I'm a writer, which maybe one day, who knows, maybe I'll give an idea to somebody and they'll be like, yo, that's a great idea. Let me put that in a story. But because I'm not part of those right now. And I feel like this is our show. Every week we talk about these things. It would be really hard for me to not talk about some of the geeky out there, which is an offshoot of The Boys, which is which is on Prime. I'm really excited. And hopefully the people at Prime start to realize, hey, maybe we start paying these people because they make stuff that everyone wants to talk about. That's more my thing. The fact that so many different platforms and so many different people aren't able to discuss half this stuff is an unfortunate part. Blue Beetle is now losing momentum. They're saying it's not tracking as well. Guess what? It's because the star, who was from Karate Kid, was doing, in my opinion, most of the legwork on that promo. He was the one that was constantly posting. He was the one constantly telling people about it.
And yeah, now, wasn't that one of the? I guess it's because it's part of the old guard of DC movies. They just kind of want to bury it, kind of thing.
Well, I don't think DC's trying to bury it. I mean, we had the conversation, I think, on our show where we talked about the fact that it is still technically part of the DC. Blue Beetle is going to be part of the upcoming universe.
Oh.
But not necessarily. But this film specifically is not necessarily part of that new universe he's building.
Okay.
Which is which was the impression I got from what people were saying. And I'm like, okay.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, we already got this version of Blue Beetle in Young Justice.
Right.
So you kind of have an idea of what it's doing and where it's going and everything. And then
right.
Let's.
And you're introducing the character, you're introducing their background, their lore, and then you're gonna bring the character over, but then it's not necessarily a multiverse type thing. I don't know what Gunn and them are deciding. I don't know how they're gonna plan to do this. And again, with the strike, any of these projects that are being released now are gonna get hurt. Challenger with Zendaya is supposedly being moved already because that whole, from my understanding, the whole approach for that film was the fact that Zendaya has a huge built-in audience, and they were convinced that her platform would be enough to get people to go out. Right. And now, because of the strike, she won't be able to promote it. So they're just like, okay, move the movie then, because movies of that style, which we've seen recently in Hollywood, unless you're a major IP, like Barbie, for example, that to me is huge part of the popularity of Barbie had to do with the fact that Barbie is an internationally known IP.
Yeah.
And then Barbenheimer helped push that into the stratosphere.
The whole Barbenheimer thing reminds me of when Doom Eternal and what was that game by Nintendo? Oh my goodness. It was like you build your own house and everything. Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing were coming out on the same day. So instead of people being like, oh, F you in that game, they're like, hey, yo, I hope you have launch day. You too, man. And then people start doing pictures of like the two characters. Dude. Like, hey, I'm the Doom guy. And here, you can have my gun. And he's like, oh, here, I have my gun. And you're like, oh, cool. This is how you shoot it. This is the safety. And it's like, oh, okay.
That's wild. That is wild.
It was just, and then even like the developers like said, hey, have a good launch day, you too. And then like everyone's like, oh, that's so wholesome. And it's just two games that are not in each other's paths.
Right.
At all.
Right. And Barbie and Oppenheimer, obviously, we know are two like IP, like one is a biopic about the man who considered himself the end of all because he created one of the most dangerous weapons in the world. And the other is about a doll.
But it sounds like it's the one about the doll. It seems more
doll, yeah. Greta Gerwig went hard.
It seems more Meta. It seems more meta. It's like I feel
100%.
like it's going to be like the Lego movie.
Yes, 100%. And once again, I think we said last week, Will Ferrell's also in this one, so he's Will Ferrell's always there when things get meta. I mean, and it's great because
Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, like I unfortunately didn't get to see Barbie. I know Dave was Merc with him out, was supposed to jump on today. He might still, fingers crossed, but he wanted to talk a bit about Barbie because he saw it. I'm only going to get to see it next week, so I'll jump in with him when we could do a full, deeper review. But I think it's really cool, and I listened to a bunch of podcasts where people talked. I listened to a podcast that I've mentioned before, The Town, where it's a lot of industry stuff, and they spoke to the head of marketing for Barbie and asked them specifically, did you guys jump on the Barbenheimer wagon? Like, did you because you guys did a lot of partnerships, and Barbie partnered with almost 100 different brands in promotion. Yeah, they said they think it might be even more than 100.
You got to,
dude.
I mean, and I think it's better than how the Lorlax did it. We're doing a movie about environmentalism.
Yeah,
buy this car. I'm the Lorlax, and I say Mazda's cool.
Yeah.
Buy this car.
It's like, well, that's it. Barbie was shoes. Barbie was houses, clothing, makeup. Like, and they're smart because it's like everything got touched. Like you can't turn somewhere and not see something Barbie affiliated. And usually, what you would expect for people to burn out a little bit when you see something so much. No, I think people actually really wanted this energy, this like pink everywhere. Like,
because the last few years have been pretty shite.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think that. Okay, I'll ask you this because you bring up an excellent point. Do you think Barbie would do as well in a pre-pandemic world? I've been thinking about that too.
I think we weren't cynical enough.
Right.
We weren't tired of being cynical about everything.
Right. Yeah, man. I think you're right. I would like to think it would still do well because again, the IP is very popular. But I don't even think we get the script that Greta Gerwig and her partner Noah wrote if we don't have the pandemic. Like,
because I think before the pandemic, it was supposed to be Diablo. I heard it was supposed to be Diablo Cody.
Okay,
was writing it, but then the execs said they wanted the movie to make fun of Barbie and be more self-deprecating, and she's like, "That's not a script I want to write. I want to write Barbie being awesome. Like, what the hell you want?"
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what she wanted to write because she said, "No, I'm not doing this movie," and then they went the other way.
Right? Yeah, I think from all I've heard from everyone, all my friends, anyone who's seen it, the reviews, the fact that this film has done a great job of making fun of itself and making fun of its IP and still being an entertaining film sounds great to me. And it's rare to be able to do that. I don't know many IPs that would let, or many studios, WB, Warner Brothers Discovery, knowing, and Mattel knowing how important this character is, and being like, yeah, you can make, you can shit at us a little bit.
Also, a little Google thing. Google Barbie, the word Barbie.
Okay.
And then you'll get a little something.
Do I, like right now?
Yeah, right now. If you search Barbie in Google, they give you a little silly thing.
Okay, we're gonna switch it over. I'm actually a little nervous now. I'm like, what are we gonna see? Okay. Barbie. Searching Barbie. Oh, Google. Pink.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, you get a little sparkle. I do like when Google does stuff like that. It's fun.
You can keep doing
it. I like that. It was Google.
This is another brand they reached out to, right?
Yeah, they're cross marketing. Like stuff like this. This is all things that are just getting the IP more visibility. Just continuing, just getting everyone to see it in every way possible. I almost wore pink today. I'm not gonna lie.
I know they were showing Ryan Gosling and Simu Liu on the red carpet for Barbie, and I was like, oh, just two Canadians.
Yeah.
Canucks. Just like when
what were they asking them? Why do Canadians have the best Kenergy?
Same with what was it? There was a picture of The Weeknd and this Punjab comedian named Just Rain. He was like really popular on YouTube for a bit. And
Okay.
I was like, oh, just two Canadians hanging out. Just two Canucks.
I gotta say I am impressed with what this movie has done, and I do look forward to seeing Oppenheimer too. I'm seeing Oppenheimer Friday. One of my friends asked me, she was just like, I don't think anyone else wants to see this movie with me. Would you? And I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, I think it's kind of a interesting story to tell.
Yeah,
why not? You know, like Oppenheimer's kind of crazy.
I remember I was in a work call and someone said like some of the reviews are saying that it's kind of depressing, and I was like, yes, that's the point. Good, they did their job.
Did you did you see
like
the
it wasn't
post?
me like making fun of the person
Right,
saying this. I was like, good, they did their
right,
job. That's the whole
right,
point.
right. I saw something where someone posted and said, does oh no, they didn't post. They asked they posted their question to Google. Does Oppenheimer have a post-credit scene? And someone tweeted that and wrote, "You're living in it."
They didn't just put anime.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's funny, like, to ask that question. Does Oppenheimer have a post-credit scene? Well, I mean, we could history books. If you want to watch every film after what happened, let's do
This
it. But
is the world we live
yeah.
in.
Shout outs to India and the Middle East too for the version of Oppenheimer where Florence Pugh's nude scene is covered. She's in a black mini dress instead. Because I was having this conversation and people, someone was just like, well, you know, it's not what they intended. It's just like, yo, in India and the Middle East, maybe they don't want to see this girl naked. They're allowed to just say, hey, we get the point without her actually being naked. We don't need to see her boob. Guess what? You could have gotten the point in North America without seeing Florence Pugh naked. Y'all just wanted to see Florence Pugh naked. And she's okay with that. And that's okay too. But if those guys don't want to see it, guess what? You could still tell the same story without this girl having to be naked. So let's not get mad at them. They're allowed to want what they want. Out here trying to shame these people. She's allowed to do what she wants. They're allowed to watch it the way they want. You can't get mad at these people for wanting their own version. But I will say when it comes to stopping LGBTQ stuff scenes, I feel like that's also a cultural thing. And if they're not ready for it, that's an unfortunate aspect. But until they are, and until the laws and the regulations in those places change, guess what? They're not going to show it in their media. They don't even want it in their streets. This is a whole other heavy conversation. So people always getting mad at that stuff. They're just like, well, where does the censorship stop? Well, I mean, unless you want to go into that country and help them change their ways through force, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
And the movies isn't the American movies coming through with naked girls being like, look at this, isn't how you're going to change their minds.
Yeah, exactly.
Hollywood, always mad. The West be mad though. the West gets mad. We have a Young Love, which was Hair Love, right? The original short.
Yeah, I think so.
Which just that is getting a series over on Max. I know a lot of people are very excited about that. I watched the original short. I was very excited when I saw that it was getting turned into a series. Issa Rae is back doing the voice of the mother. There's a bunch of different. I think Kid Cudi is in it
I think
as well.
Kid Cudi's the dad.
Yeah, Kid Cudi's the dad. I don't know who's playing the little girl. I do apologize for that. But yeah, if you guys watch the trailer's pretty cute because the mom is doing her hair, and then the mom kind of gives her those old-fashioned braids that we all knew when we were kids.
It's the kid. She's getting the kid braids because she's a kid. So the mom's just like, "Yo, I gotta get your hair done and gotta do it." And she's like, "No, I want to look like a movie star. I want to look cool." So she just the little girl's having a little bit of trouble telling her mom, aka her stylist, the type of hair she wants, and then the dad has to hook her up.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was cute that the mom did the hair like this. I actually had to rewatch the trailer twice because the first time I didn't understand that the little girl didn't like the hair. Like I guess I misunderstood something in this scene here because when she's on the red carpet, the lady like tells her like, "Why are you here, little girl? Like you're not a movie star." But
why you here,
then the
baby? Why
father
you here,
comes
little?
in.
Get this baby out of here.
Yes, that's it. Yes, and it
So
was
no, she
cute. The
doesn't
dad
like
does
it.
the hair. I loved it, and as a trailer, it's so it merges the two worlds of the short that we saw and now the show that we're gonna get, because you get the mom,
Yeah,
but you
and
also get the dad.
I I was gonna say, I think that the whole point is that the little girl's coming into her own, and she has
Right,
her own style, and she's like, "I wanna
right.
kinda do something different from what my mom just putting me like, you're my little girl, I'm just this is little girl hair." And she's like, that's not what I want."
Yeah, yeah, essentially, and I like that. I thought it was cute. I thought it was good. I don't understand, you know, this is Hollywood. This is entertainment now. I'm down for it. What else do we have? The last one we have was something that I did not recognize at all, but I feel like you're
Sorry,
gonna tell me
this is
what
a
it's all
me
about.
thing. So, it's a new anime called Lazarus.
No,
It's
no, this is good.
directed by Hmm? Pardon me?
I said this is good.
Oh,
I said it's good. It's stuff that I don't know. It's always good when you talk about it, because I don't know all these things. So I feel like the old man
s
sometimes, but I feel like that's also a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. So it's the new series directed by I'm probably gonna butcher his name and I apologize. Uh Shinichiro Watanabe, the director of Cowboy Bebop, the anime series, director of Samurai Champloo, and when something more recent, Carol and Tuesday, which is on Netflix. So each of those shows kind of has a theme. So Cowboy Bebop is like more so bebop and space sci-fi. Samurai Champloo is like a mixture, and so it's samurais and hip hop, and that's where you get a lot of what we call now lo-fi, but like a lot of Dilla beats, a lot of new jabs.
Yeah.
So like any that kind of style, kind of like really got popular big time over here. And then Carol and
Yeah.
Tuesday is literally about I think two girls making music. So what's
Yeah.
cool about this particular series is that the action sequences are directed by Chad Stahelski, who is the director of all the John Wick movie series, who's been the action
Oh.
director of like a ton of action movies. I think he was the action director for what was it called? Was it a lot of movies? I'm sorry, but like a lot of
Yeah,
Western movies, like a lot of
that's
fight
fine.
scenes have stepped their game up because Chad Stahelski and the other
Mhm.
guy that that they work together with have really stepped all the games up of all lot of movies, making them almost on par with, depending on which movie you're watching, on par with Hong Kong action movies, basically. So everyone kind of stepped all their game up. So this should be pretty
Right.
interesting. I think the way the trailer kind of breaks down is I there's no story beats given. It's just visuals that you're getting, and it seems like this
Yeah.
guy is really good at parkour, and that's as much as I could
Right, right,
get
right.
from it.
Yeah, but the vibe I got from it was, like, when I watched it, I didn't understand as much what I was watching as much as I was
Mhm.
like, and it makes sense now that you mention that the person who directed the action sequences is the guy who did the John Wick stuff, because then you get the sense when you're watching, like, oh, this is what it's like. I imagine they gave people a storyboard of, like, I want it to look like this, or even videos of people doing the moves, and then these animators are just like, cool, 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 we're gonna
Yeah.
also add this to it, and then you get this fantastic dude when he jumps from the what are
Cranes?
those things, the cranes, when he jumps from one crane to the other, and then his leg, like, kind of like morph stretches out, but it's still within the universe. It's like, that's dope as fuck. Like, that looks so cool. So
So I'm not super sure what music styling they're going with for this particular show, but I know there's usually a theme for the most part for most of his stuff. Um, and also just to kind of tie it back with what we talked about last week,
mm,
Watanabe also worked on Macross Plus. He wasn't the main director, but he was like the
okay.
second director. So
Okay.
that was like one
Okay.
of his first movies, one of his first animes he worked on, or OVAs, I guess.
Crazy. All right, and that's all the trailers. I mean, I knew the trailers because the list was so long. I was just like, we're definitely gonna end up talking a lot about the trailers. The but if anything, I'll let you go into TFCon, because we didn't get we get to talk about we didn't get to talk about the whole convention last time.
No,
did we even
I
get to
think
talk
it was
about
just
it?
very brief, and that was it.
Yeah. So hit
So
us,
yeah,
man. TFCon.
Yeah, TFCon was 2 weeks ago, so the same time as Montreal Comic Con, taking place in Mississauga, Ontario. So for this year, the voice actors that they had for guests was David Kaye, Frank Totaro, Paul Eiding. Then we had the voice actor Terry McGovern, who was there. Who sadly couldn't make it. For those who don't know, Terry McGovern is actually the original voice of Launchpad McQuack.
Cool.
So that would have been a really cool person to see there for the first time in Toronto, I think. But he wasn't able to make it. And Venus Turzo. For writers, we had James Roberts, who did the comics for Transformers Morden Meets the Eye and Transformers Lost Light. And then also we had Michael Charles Hill, who was one of the writers for Generations 1 cartoon.
Oh, dope. Okay.
And a lot of artists were there. Aaron Archer, who is a toy designer, who was part of Kenner, part of Hasbro.
That's the dude that does the show with Protoman.
Yes, exactly. One in the same. Super nice guy. Alex Mills, also nice guy. Jack Lawrence, also amazing artists. And yeah, those were all the artists for that day, for that weekend.
What was the main thing that you enjoyed the most out of the weekend?
Just catching up with everybody, actually. That was pretty cool. There was also some exclusive toys. There was also a charity auction that happens on Friday night, and it raised $255 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation for Canada. Whoa, and awesome. During that charity auction, someone made a really cool custom Cosmos. So Cosmos was a character in G1 that looked like a UFO.
Yeah,
like a little green UFO.
Yeah, he's right there in my display.
He talked really weird and everything like that. Yeah. So someone did maybe a few years ago or so, Hasbro came out with the Ark. So they made a whole the spaceship that the G1 characters come to Earth in, they made a whole spaceship, and that spaceship transforms. So this guy named General Techno, that's part of the community, he was taking a bunch of these arcs, because I guess they were going on sale for cheap, and he was customizing them. So one of them was like a reboot homage, so he made it look like not megabyte, gigabyte, when hexadecimal and megabyte are combined. Okay. He also made another one where it looks like Dr. Robotnik's robot. So for this thing, he made one that looks like Cosmo. So the only thing that changed was the head changed. And another person in the community named Quinn Ideas sculpted the head to make it look like Cosmo, and then he repainted everything, and it was just a giant Cosmo, and a big bidding war happened over that toy.
Oh, really?
It got up to $1,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So as it was going on, it was just two people bidding and bidding and bidding and bidding and bidding, just going and going and going.
What did the bids start at?
I think for that one, it started at maybe 100. I think.
Holy shit! And it got all the way up to 1,000.
1,000, yeah. And what was cool is that there's video out there of General Techno just in awe, just eyes open. He's like, he's just mind is blown, because these two people are just going at it. I
mean, what you're describing sounds so cool to me. I have Metroplex, and I have Devastator and Omega Supreme. I'm not the biggest fan of the Arc figure. I know a lot of people like it. I didn't really love it. That's one of the reasons I didn't really try and get that one. But a Cosmo version of it, because I do like the Cosmo ship. Like I said, I have Cosmo front and center in my display here in front of me, and I do love that color scheme, and I do like his head, that kind of because the classic UFO look is cool to me, that we've had most of my life. Speaking of UFOs, there's some interesting stuff happening in the world. We're gonna maybe get some information from the American government about UFOs. But anyways, so that's a side tangent. But to get a large scale version of Cosmos sounds dope. So I'd be down to check that out.
I'm trying to find it, and I can't find it.
An image? That's okay. I mean, it's probably it'll end up being on the internet at some point.
Yeah. I'll find it. And I'll post. I'll
Yeah,
send it along. But yeah, that was the pretty crazy thing about TFCon that this year
that's super
was
cool.
just the bidding for Cosmo and just how nice it looked. It looked really cool, and the fact that it raised that much money for a
I
really
was
good
gonna say,
foundation.
I feel like all the cons should have a day like a auction, because there's so much stuff that people would bid on.
Mm-hmm.
Like if even like Montreal Comic Con, now that you've said that, I'm just like, there's so many like things like cosplay or special edition, or like let's say you got something where it's like all the guests sign something and you auction that off at the last day. Because I gotta say, I'll try and make it quick, but when I went to, I didn't get to stay for the final performance for Word Burglar and More or Less at Montreal Comic Con, and I wish I'd gone to. I got there early to see them, to see if they had taken the stage. They hadn't taken the stage yet, but most of the people I knew that I spoke to about it at the convention didn't even know there was a final major concert. A lot of people get that booklet and don't actually look at it in detail. Like they might use the app, but they're not looking at events that are going on. They're just like, I'm going to be on the convention floor. So it'd be nice to do something like you're saying at the end of the con, 5 p.m. on the Sunday, you do an auction, something signed by all the attendees, something special from certain attendees, a free pass for next year, all those different things, raise some money for a cool organization. The Make-A-Wish Canada, that sounds fantastic. Or if there's another one, but whatever, it'd be cool, because I think TFCon is definitely setting an example and raising a bar when they have something like that, because that seems really cool to me.
I think last year they raised maybe $200 more or $100 more. So they didn't beat their best.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So almost on par.
I mean, there's still some good numbers.
Yeah, it's very good numbers. Very good numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was super fun. Just a lot of awesome people, great people to talk to, a lot of stuff to buy, a lot of good, cool things to see on the floor. There's a costume contest, so a lot of cosplayers come out, either like a lot of weird, like interesting out there concepts. Someone dressed up as Mirage, like pretty close to what you see on TV. Mirage. There was a giant person on stilts dressed up as Soundwave, towering over people. There's a lot of really, really creative people. Just like this convention just brings out a lot of creativity among people, and it's always fun to go there and check it out and everything like that.
I'm trying to find the image you sent me.
Sadly, you have to sign into Twitter to see it.
Yeah, because they changed Twitter now that you have to sign in to see things.
Yeah, you have to sign in to see it. Well, it's not called Twitter anymore. It's called X.
Dude, I'm never gonna call it X. It's Twitter. Dude, when I saw that he decided he wanted to change the name to X, and the logo, I was like, what are you talking about, Elon? What are you talking about? Get out of
here. Every other thing is named X. Xbox. I think Microsoft actually has they actually have the rights to use the letter X or something like that. I remember I put on my Twitter like, oh well, there's only one X. I'm like, oh well, technically there's two if you count DMX, but I posted up Exhibit song X.
Yes, true. Exhibit, DMX, Xbox, and then you have a platform that has its own name that is synonymous with what it does. You have a new word, tweeting, and tweet became a verb specifically from this, and you're going to try and do away with all that for what?
We're going to X. No we're sense X on X. I'm going to re-X you, man.
Yeah, is that what it like when instead of tweeting, you're supposed to say I X'd and I re-X'd you, and did you see that X by so and so? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Bad. Okay, I'm trying to look through this guy's Twitter. How long ago would he have posted about this?
This would have been 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Okay, by now.
I'm gonna try, because I was trying to search.
But the link I sent should be.
Link you sent me sends me directly to his Twitter, but it doesn't send me to a picture of the thing. Which is unfortunate. But
because I'm not logged in on Twitter.
Well, that's the thing. Again, Twitter's,
I want to make this more unusable.
Yeah.
I like how he's regretting that he bought it, and he's trying to sue the people that made him buy it. It's like, no, that's your fault.
Is that what he's saying? Is that the word, that he's regretting it?
I'm pretty sure he's regretting it.
I can, like, he's never get the thing is, just him touching it devalued it. You know what I mean? He will never be able to get as much money as he
bought it for. Yeah,
never.
See, that's what happens when you have too much money. Then you buy some bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy the newspaper. Twitter's not a newspaper, and it's been losing money consistently.
Dude.
What are you talking about?
And I remember when he tried to back out of, when he originally spoke about wanting to buy it, then he tried to back out, and then they tried to sue him because they're just like, yo, you fucked with the stock price. Like, you can't.
It's called pill. What's it called? Pill, blue pill, black pill. There's a thing when you're investing where if someone says, I'm gonna buy you, and it's like, oh yeah, go ahead, and then you could like force them to buy you,
right?
And it screws up everything.
That man
actually, okay, here we go.
Unimpressive ass. I'm sorry. I don't have much respect for, like, and it's not even his opinions that I don't have much respect for.
If you
it's just
go
his
to
energy.
If you go to that link, the YouTube link,
right?
If you show the YouTube link, you'll see the picture of it.
Okay, I got the image. I'm going to try and pull it up without getting disconnected again, because I realized whenever I was just like, why am I getting all laggy? And I was realizing it's because my computer doesn't like when I try and show 1080 HDP videos while I'm also streaming at 1080. It's just like, sir, we can't do both of these at the same time. You're going to have to pick one.
So I actually sent you the clip where it's at the image of the actual thing next to another custom that he did.
Yeah, dude.
Flugnut.
I would totally want to own this Cosmo. This is so cool to look at.
One of one.
$1,000. Shout outs to Techno. What you said his name was?
General Techno. It's at General Techno.
General Techno.
I think if you go back a little bit in the video, this video in particular will actually show you you'll see his reaction to people going crazy on the bidding. Yeah, that's him like freaking out, just like what? Yeah. So he actually cosplayed as Dr. Robotnik, as Dr. Eggman. So that's why he has the big mustache.
Oh, that's why I was like, why is this? I was like, this mustache is a thing. I'm like, this is a wild one. Yo, kudos to him, man. Yeah, on the left, right? And once again, if you guys are listening to the audio only version of this podcast, make sure you check out the video available on YouTube and Twitch. You can always check us out on youtube.com/@FXAmedia. Sorry, Jaws, you were saying?
No, that's it. This is also another aspect of Transformers conventions that some people make customs of specific figures and stuff like that. So a lot of ingenuity, a lot of really cool creativity is done. So this is even before 3D printing, just people sculpting stuff and sanding it down and painting it and making it fit into something.
I was gonna say, when you said that someone sculpted the head, I was wondering, did they sculpt it or did they 3D print it? I would imagine they 3D printed for this one, right?
Maybe. I think so. But I know it's a guy that's been like, he wants to become a toy designer or a designer in the future. And like one of the things he showed me was a full-on matrix that you could pull open.
Oh,
and it has the LED light and it shines and everything, and you could close it back. And it was all friction. Like it was all friction and it wasn't loose or anything. It was just 3D printed extremely well. And I was like, what the? I was like,
that's so cool.
This is just pure friction. He's like, pure friction. I'm like,
and you could feel it, like when you pulled it apart. You felt
it goes nice and smooth and slow, just like if you're in the movie, like opening up the matrix of leadership, just like. Dun, 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 dun.
This is when you can tell that I'm an old school Transformers nerd. Like just you describing that made me very excited. I like, that's a toy that I would want to own. Like I have Optimus's head right here. I would equally want to own that thing, just so I could have the Optimus, and eventually one day maybe I will cosplay as Optimus Prime, with the Matrix, the perfect friction Matrix. All right.
Yeah, that was TFCon.
Yeah, man, TFCon. I really hope I can go check it out one year. It would be fun. I do love cons. I've been to Otakuthon. I've been to Montreal Comic Con. I've been to Fan Expo. I want to go to San Diego Comic Con. I want to go to New York Comic Con, and I want to go to TFCon. Those are 3 that I would like to check out. So hopefully in the next little bit, once the finances are a little better, because things get a little crazy in the summer. Kudos to these prints, but these 2 combined, a little pricey. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, stuff like that. Comic-Con was fun. And TFCon sounds like a blast. And I hope I don't have to Sophie's Choice it next year. Ideally, I can go to both. I wanted to talk to people about the Adam Eve special, which was kind of like a mini Invincible little series thing that they gave us to tide us over until we could get back to Invincible. Samantha Eve Wilkins is Adam Eve. She's a character who has kind of she's like almost like Franklin Richards. She can change things she can change reality, or sorry, I should say she can change the matter of things. She can control things on an atomic level. So whereas from what I understand, Franklin is kind of like adjusting the world around him. She mostly, I think, can only create things and adjust things in front of her. I don't think she can do an entire, like, I know at one point in the comic book, she like moves to Africa and like builds herself this huge house and stuff just out of thin air, because she can even adjust the molecules in air.
Right.
But yeah, the show, the mini episode that we got was fantastic. It's her origin story. They added to the story that's in the comic book. I don't remember exactly which issue it is. I will try and find that for the future. But there's an issue in the comic where they do discuss her childhood and how she came to be and why she is. And this does a really good version of that story. I thought it was great to watch the fight scene. I've seen people post about the fight scene in this episode and say it is one of the best animated fight scenes in a while, which is very, very difficult to come up against. But she does some really cool stuff, and the villains that she's fighting do some cool stuff. It's heartwarming too, because part of it is her dealing with loss and being adopted and finding out she's adopted, but also just trying to be a teenager. But what the is life when you're a teenager who can, like her mom puts a pickle and cream cheese sandwich in front of the door at one point after an argument with her parents, and it's just like, honey, here's a sandwich. She opens the door, takes a sandwich, looks it in, and it's like one of the first times that she uses her powers, and she turns it into a burger.
Pickle and cream cheese. What
the it was really weird. I don't know, man. I don't know this family.
What are you doing?
Yeah, man.
You got nothing in that house.
Yeah,
pickle and cream cheese.
But that's it. Like, she turns it into a big burger, and you're just like, yo, that's wild. At one point, she, out of thin air, because she can adjust the molecules in air and turn the molecules in air into like a glowing ball that could be moved around the room. Like, it's a whole bunch of crazy shit that she does, and you're just like, yo, this is impressive as hell. Right. So watch it, guys, before, if you're looking for an Invincible, because Invincible is coming back November, I think, is what we saw. So if you're looking for something to tide you over, this is a really good one. Like, I would say watch that and watch the first season again if you're looking for something fun to give you a good hit. And yeah, check it out. Adam Eve. Fantastic. We got some news. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson contributes historic donation to SAG-AFTRA. 7 figures is what people are saying. So that's in the millions, people. That's the lowest end of that is $1 million. So he donated at least $1 million to SAG-AFTRA. I think that's really cool. I am of 2 minds, though. I think that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's Q score dipped a little, and he needs to get his name back up there. But I also do think he generally does care about this. So is this a good move for him? Yes. Does it benefit everybody? Yes. So does it matter that I think it's a little bit of a play? No, not at all. I think it's good that he did this. I think everyone benefits from it. Courtney B. Vance, who is the president of the foundation, was saying like this is a call to action. I think it would be great because there's 160,000 members in SAG-AFTRA, and only like 10% of them are like the Hollywood stars that we see. So if the Hollywood stars could give 5 figures, 6 figures, because you know some of y'all got mansions, and some of y'all, you know, The Rock's not the only one. You know, so 7 figures isn't light.
So is he walking around singing "You're welcome"?
Whatever he's feeling right now, he is well deserving, because I don't see Tom Cruise giving 7 figures. I don't see, you know, all these other celebrities out there that have money in the bank. I don't see them donating.
Well, I mean, you got to make it make sense.
Right.
I mean, I think the only person that was super honest about the amount of money they were giving was Kanye West.
Oh, Kanye donated too?
No. I mean, back in the day, he was talking about, I think he was talking about Hurricane Katrina. He's like, you know, I got to talk to my money people and see how much I can give and stuff. And people got mad at him for saying that out loud. And then I think maybe sometime later, Celine Dion was like, oh, I'm going to donate money. And everyone's super happy. But she didn't say how much.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm saying like Kanye's actually like, well, this is the thought process we all do. And we want to give, but we have to make it make sense for us as well. We can't just drop.
Yeah, I'm just saying when it comes to Tom Cruise, he doesn't have to make it make sense. Tom Cruise has the money. Tom Cruise didn't make Top Gun last year and Mission Impossible this year and can't afford to.
Well, he did dip into his own funds for Mission Impossible. Remember that big blow up he had?
Sure.
The deserved blow up. He's like, I am taking my money and all these other people's money to make sure that we're making the movie, so all you get paid. 100%. Don't bring COVID onto the set.
And I would say if he has movie making money, he has save all the other actors in this industry money.
Yeah, he's a producer too. Yeah, he's a producer.
Yeah, exactly.
He's making money all over the place.
Yeah, Tom Cruise got that money. You can't tell me The Rock has more than Tom Cruise. That's all I'm saying. I feel like that's the easiest way to say it. The Rock does not have more than Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise hasn't been in Hollywood for as long as he's been and have less than The Rock, who started out as a wrestler, living in his daddy's shadow. You know what I mean? Like, so Tom, I feel like you are the next person I would like to hear. And I know Tom Cruise doesn't watch this, but actually maybe Tom Cruise does watch this. Maybe Tom Cruise is such an egotistical narcissist.
If we got a coconut cake that we know he watches, I would be scared. I'm like, oh my God, he pays attention. What? I'd be very scared. How do you get my address?
But yeah, man, I mean, there's a bunch of actors out there that I feel, and I'm not even saying all y'all need to give 7 figures. Like, I'm talking about
they're not donating underneath aliases and stuff.
True. Hey, even if you're doing that, sure, you don't have to be The Rock. But this is more me just saying, donate if you can to help your fellow actors out, because there's 160,000 of them on strike right now, and this industry is shut down. The shutdown for the WGA, the writers, and the SAG-AFTRA is also affecting the Teamsters, because the actors are having to do fundraisers for the Teamsters because they're not doing their hours, so they're not insured. And I'm hearing about that across the board. So LA is a wild mess right now. And the studios, wild stories you're hearing. Netflix is out here looking for someone to pay $300,000 to $900,000 a year for AI, for someone to work in their AI department, to like manage their AI department. And people are just like, are you $300K to $900K? And we're telling you to give the actors and the writers more, and that's where you're spending the money. So
wasn't there something where they said Netflix lost a certain amount of money,
$600K, I think, right? You guys,
yeah, and that money could have been used to give the actors and everybody what they wanted.
Yeah,
they lost way more money than the people were asking for.
Wild. We have the Borderlands movie comes out next year, which even that's depending on like, is it's completed? Because I feel like anything
when they're saying like, hey, whenever they talk about it like that, I'm assuming it's in some form of
tail end.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's just with the strike, I'm always like concerned that anything they're telling me is anything that's supposed to come out in 2024 that is in production right now or 2025, I'm worried about those projects because I'm like I was saying to you guys last week, I'm hearing some actors say they're willing to push this to January.
Right.
And if stuff goes all the way till January 2024, we're not seeing anything. In summer 2024. San Diego Comic-Con announcement, Keith David to voice Hordak in Masters of the Universe Revolution. I look forward to that. That is one hell of a voice actor. Keith David, who has done Goliath and Gargoyles, and amongst many other things that he's done as an actor.
Dr. Facilier in the Prince, was it? The Princess and the Frog?
Oh yeah, the Frog. Yeah.
Frog and the Princess, or Princess and the Frog.
It's a Disney movie.
Friends on the other side.
The man is limitless. And then
Spawn.
A20. Oh yeah, Spawn. True shit. Thank you. A24 Films and crowd-funded Jesus series approved to shoot through the writers and actors strike. A24 agreed to all the things that SAG-AFTRA put down already. They already agreed to it. A24 is the only one out there saying, yeah, we can do all that. Anything you guys put down, we can do, because guess what? We know we don't have movies without you.
Yeah.
So if these are the things that you say will make you comfortable to go back to work, guess what? We're going to do it. So shout outs to them. I tweeted it and posted about this the other day, jokingly saying 2024 is A24's year. It's going to be like HBO at the Emmys this year, because HBO got almost all the noms. I think they have like 160 Emmy nominations.
Jeez.
What's it going to be when A24 is the only one to have movies in 2024?
The only ones that qualify. It's like, dang. Nothing.
Like,
all right, give them all.
The only thing I expect in 2024 for movies is A24 films, and any movie that any studio was just like, you know what, we're willing to lose the money on this. We didn't think it would do well anyways, so we can just blame it on this. Those are the movies we're going to see in 2024, because if
Blue
they don't...
Beetle. Oscar award-winning Blue Beetle.
You
heard here first, people.
Jaws calling it. Blue Beetle.
Flash. The Flash.
Oh my God, Jaws.
Winner, the Flash.
For shame. But he's not
Can't
wrong.
Win them all, people. Can't all be great stuff.
He's not wrong. If we don't get to it, this is what's going to happen. So to all the listeners who have tuned in for this wild episode, thank you for supporting the stuff that we do here on Free X Agents Media. And we appreciate you guys turning into another edition of Geektastic Sci-Fi. Jaws, always a pleasure doing the show with you. It's the advantage of having 4 people is sometimes you can just do it with 2 and have an insane conversation about the wildness of Hollywood and the movie industry and some dope conventions that people should check out. Anything you want to tell the people?
Check out Transformers Slag on YouTube, and I'm going to try to get this one in real quick. Where are you? And the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Check those 2 out.
Dope. And guys, we'll be back with another one next week. Peace, everybody. Have a good one.
Peace.
Every time. This is why they don't.
Are you playing it?
Nah, I'm about to play right now. My apologies. We out. Peace, y'all.
Bye.